against his former organization, and he was formerly a part of the lifeblood of Sharks. He had been a part of the team for ages, so this is a chance for him to inflict some serious damage onto Sharks, right? Kind of eliminate them here from ECL Season 49, and for Sharks to prove that they made the right decision to move on from him. As we're live, we're underway here, Trav, in this lower bracket final.
Yeah, it's a very good point, right? From May 2022 to August 2024, DRG was a part of Sharks through quite a lot of their successes over the years. So, yeah, let's see what he knows. If he's gleaned any information from that. We're going to go for a fast upper push on the pistol to start this consolidation final. Nighthorn's done really well to find two. Ardian Zhao and Kens will respond, but Destiny gets two of his own. So all down to the academy stand-in Kens, and he's getting pressured by two players. They don't give him any space to work with at all. And it is solid to get off to the clean start.
Yeah, very good hold there. That double kill from Destiny certainly did go a long way to basically just lock in the round there for his team. It was looking okay for Sharks initially, but never really were able to get control of the bomb site. Although they were able to get into the site, they never had control. Solid open up their account first, and they should be able to double up their round count here. Doc has a Zeus on the T side, Trav. What's that about?
Yeah. It's like he's going for a vent dive and will try and get into vent and hope someone rotates into him, but no, he's literally pushing outside. He's going for the straight down into mini though, and you know what? That has worked before. I like that one. That's the famous twists play from that Cologne Grand Final, which he made work to win that big trophy. And yeah, I think if you're going to do something crazy like that, you know, you may as well do it on a round like this. Gafolo's done really well there. He's got one kill with the Glock. He's picked up the M4. I actually found one more. So, well, for what looked like a round that would be no damage to their CT economy whatsoever, it's actually acceptable.
Yeah, pretty good return there, all things considered. Basically no investment at all. Casualties inflicted. Going to be heading into a gun round here. Like I said, both teams dropped to the lower bracket by Flux, so both teams in pursuit of revenge. Going to be tough to find though. Fluxo having that one map advantage going into the best of 5 certainly gives them a huge edge before we've even figured out who their opponent's going to be. Anyway, Sharks have got the rifles at their disposal. Got some utility as well. Not a huge amount, but enough.
Yeah, and they've spread it out across the team to some extent, but now I'm hoping they do it a bit more. Because, you know, Ardian Zhao and Ken's are going to use their mollies, and now the rest of the belts are on Gafolo and Koala, but they're definitely going to just go for this one. It's full execute in toward A. They're going to delay the flashes now, and Gafolo's going to use them, and they're going to send their way in. And actually, the timing of this is really good. That is a really, really nice take, man. Like, first pump of utility, and then the second pump is the flashes. And Solid weren't expecting that whatsoever.
Yeah, that was really good work indeed. Like you say, just the utility usage was perfect coming through from the T side, just chaining that util together. Solid never really stood a chance. Tomato is just going to be trying to save his MP9. Does do a great job to find two. Very snappy with his aim there. Good damage dealt to the third as well, but not going to be able to finish off the kill. And Sharks will get their first round on the board here. Strong display from them in that round. That'll give Solid something to think about going into the rest of the half.
Yeah, it's like a warning shot across the bow, isn't it?
Exactly,
when you have
yeah.
such a confident and clean sight take. It's almost like that was like Sharks' pocket choice on a really important opening gun round in a really important BO3. It's like, listen, we know this works like nearly 75+% of the time. We know we're very, very good at this particular take. Let's throw it in now. Sure, we're using it early, but it's a really important way to start a half. So we probably, it's probably not a bad thing to try and use it now.
Yeah, it will be in the back of Solid's mind now and going into the rest of the half, something they could be concerned about. They are going to spend their money here on the CT side. And Trav, we can see the implications from Gafolo's little double kill with the Glock at the end of that full eco. The fact that there are now two MP9s and a 5.7 in the mix for Solid certainly does give them a few handicaps coming into this round. Sharks are still trying to figure out how they're going to go about their business. Are we live right now?
I think we're not. I'm guessing we're not live off the back of that.
Okay, yeah, now we got some confirmation. It looked like we weren't live, then it looked like they were just lining up utility, and now, well, it's clear we're not live.
Round draw. It's funny how that voice line exists in the game, round draw, and there's like never a round draw that ever happens in any normal Counter-Strike match.
It would be interesting if there was such a thing, if like there was a way to kind of draw around, actually.
If there was like
you both get equal money from it, no points on the board.
Yeah, like, because you wouldn't just like, it would be stupid if you drew around and you both got the point right, and it was like 12-10, so it would end 13-11. That would be silly. So neither team would get the point. And maybe like you could have it so the only time a round draw is ever possible is where like, I mean, I can't think of any sensible option, but maybe something like a defuse being on 0-0-0 or something crazy. Makes no sense, obviously.
Yeah.
But
no, I get you. We've got to try and come up with something. Maybe if you like run out of time in some instance or another. I don't know. Nathan just going to be running at them here with the MP9. Couple flashes thrown to try and aid him, but Kenz does take him down.
He's mollied his teammates off.
What are you talking about, Trav? Nothing ever happened. Oh my, not a huge fan of that view model from DRG, but if it works, then that's all that matters.
Oh my
Lots of
goodness.
kills going back and forth right now through the smoke. It's actually only GBB left remaining. Oh my god, that ended quickly.
Doc did amazing work there. They're actually going to manage to shuffle utility over to him as well to make sure he gets it into the next round and doesn't have to repurchase it. See a replay of it here. Nighthorn goes aggressive, gets punished by Doc just in time. So much damage done to Kenz. Koala does go down so that 5-7 and the smoke push doesn't come off, but Doc was outside just doing all the work, whether it was through the smoke or through the corners of the smoke, so he was able to get all the kills when it really mattered, and that puts Solid down to a full eco now. So Sharks have already asserted some form of dominance early game on T-Nuke here.
Yeah, showing that they're not afraid to take the fight to Solid as well. They're full of confidence. I mean, Doc is looking dialed in right now. Had that brilliant entry kill towards Heaven when he pushes into the A-bomb site a few rounds ago. Had some really good rounds 2 nights ago as well against Fluxo. Doc had some good moments. Was it that game, Trav? I think it was, right? That's the only time we've seen Sharks was against Fluxo.
I believe so. Was it maybe against Game Hunters? Could have been against Game Hunters?
I was just thinking that was the other game that we saw as well, was against Game Hunters. Yeah, that was the game I was thinking about where Doc had some big moments.
Okay.
Particularly on Ancient, right? Yeah, he ended 25 and 12 on Ancient. Maybe he had that really good quad kill on the map as well. I think it was on the A-bomb side.
Yes, good point. I remember that very well. I think I just faced him one by one, right? He just like headshot every single one of them pretty much. I remember it.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming through A main.
Really snappy.
RDN's all the way out here, by the way. Somehow hasn't seen the close hut player. He did just see him there, I'm pretty sure. But he's locked in elsewhere. Destiny will actually get that kill as well, which is a bit awkward. They could have saved Koala if RDN had actually seen him. Pretty sure I wasn't being baited by the X-ray through the corner of hut there. I think he definitely saw a leg. Kenz will get a quad kill, though. Important stuff for him and for Sharks. And now he's, I will give him the credit, right? They're not where they once were, Sharks, it feels like, but considering he is a stand-in for these playoffs, I think he's doing a pretty decent job.
Yeah, he's gotten better as the playoffs have gone, have kind of gone on, right? Obviously, it was a very first tough test for him playing up against Fluxo. Wouldn't be ideal for anybody, but he has improved as we've gone on here throughout the playoffs.
Yeah.
He started strong here as well, which will be a good boost for his confidence. Oh my, Gafolo. He actually, I don't think he caught a glimpse of the player who crosses into Secret, but he has got a flash primed right now. Doc's heading in that direction. Kenz is there too. And there's the flash. It doesn't go deep enough though, but it's not going to matter.
It was just, only just. I see what you mean. Like it was right on the edge, right? You thought maybe that he was able to avoid it, but no. I tell you what, they're not going to be able to avoid though. Doc and Kenz cannot avoid GBB. He's had a great game so far. Picks up the AK, almost gets 4 kills from that. RDN will finally put him to death, but Gafolo and RDN have to try and figure out a 2v2 now. Bomb is not close yet. And Gafolo in the vent, that's something DRG was not expecting at all. As I say, so I have to try and recover that. C4, Destiny's kind of got control of it somewhat at the moment. But he's worried about where the Gafolo AWP could be. So he's going to leave the scenario, go back to find him, and he's going to get the kill. Gafolo will miss. Back into a 1v1. RDN now knows what's up. Bomb is in the open. Good molly from Destiny. And we'll waste more time off the clock. 30 on that clock now. And RDN has seen his prey. But Destiny has got more utility on the ground to use to keep him at bay. That smoke is a bit awkward, but he does have a nade to break it open. I really love this strategy. Unfortunately, though, RDN telegraphs it. Bomb will be picked up. He's trying to shift away. Destiny, does he put a few bullets through the smoke? He does not. He's let him get away. And he's taken so much damage. Goodness gracious. The nade is insane. RDN will try and get the plant down, but Destiny doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know he's got into the corner. And RDN will take the triple kill clutch.
Could he not hear the ticks from the bomb, maybe, that it was towards the left side of the site? I mean, he's so zoned in, I suppose, in that moment. Oh, man, really well worked there from RDN to just pick up the bomb and then get onto the site and then finish off the job as well. That round was back and forth and then back again. That nade also does so much damage, probably just kind of flusters Destiny a little bit.
Yeah, the
That's
fadeaway
now for Sharks.
The fadeaway HE as he's like so focused on trying to get through the double door and plant the bomb. But yeah, I am surprised he didn't hear the beeps, man. Maybe the communication was really loud. I mean, who knows? You'd expect them to be a bit quieter while your teammate's clutching, right? So you'd expect him to hear that. I'm surprised the teammate didn't say left, left, left or something as well, right? Because there's 5 players watching that scenario. 1 live. Crazy round for Sharks Zone. A great round for RDN. Very entertaining one in this series.
Now a chance to just restore some calm here for Sharks. Catch their breath a little bit. Up against the pistols and an MP9 as well. Just taking their time to build themselves into the round, edging their way forward towards ramp right now. Tomate is in position, so pretty good with the MP9 already. But the problem is he's here alone. On an off angle, just kind of stepping out. That kind of allows him to maybe take the fight on his own terms, but was still always going to struggle against the AK. And Koala draws first blood.
Yeah, good positioning there from RDN as well. As he shifts away, makes sure he keeps an eye on it. Dink will come through for Nython, but no more than that. DRG should get cleared. They're clearing absolutely everything. And there we go. Actually, they do half check it. They don't check it properly. They don't check it properly. And that could be an issue. Wow. Koala was 1 bullet from death as well. There, even the 5-7, I think. But Koala will get a triple kill in the end. Decent damage from that 157 left, considering he was 1v5. As I say, they do half clear it. They were clearing everything so perfectly in that round. But so far, it's been a very diligent T-side from Sharks. When they needed to deliver, they have. When they've needed to make a fast call, they have. So far, it's a 5-star T-side.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, they lost the pistol, full eco after that, but they haven't looked back since then. Here's the round 4 Solid to try and put a stop to that little bit of rot that might be setting in this first half. There's an AWP for Nython. All the rifles outside of that. Solid have been quite active outside, Trav, whether it's trying to get somebody towards the top of Secret Stairs, fighting deep underneath Silo. There's always been fights being taken, and it's kind of given up the early fights that Sharks have been winning, and I think that Solid maybe need to try and make Sharks work a little bit harder to get these opening kills and not offer up so many early fights.
Oh my goodness, Destiny. Oh my goodness, Destiny.
Lordy lord.
So much fire, and he just wasn't prepared for any of it at all. So far, Sharks have had a couple of really good A-site takes. This one's a bit harder, though. Gafolo needs to deliver, and, well, he does get that second flick. He's actually been pretty good on the AWP so far today. He's got 4 kills. I think all 4 of his kills have been pretty impactful. And thankfully, his rifling teammate was there to swing from door in time. They have been really putting a lot of pressure on Solid, and as he rightly said, despite that pistol and conversion, gun rounds dominated by Sharks.
I mean, I like the plan there from Sharks after they realized they'd burned a player out of the round on the A bomb site. They think, well, let's just try and get into A as quickly as possible. But Solid did read into that. They rotate everybody. I mean, they had all 5 players effectively die on or around that A bomb site. But Sharks, it didn't matter. And that's what's impressive about the round for the T side, is just how they keep their composure. Despite there being so much going on, there being so many little fights in and around that site, but Sharks are still able to manage all of them. Win the round with 2 players alive, and now with a really good chance to guarantee a lead going into that second half.
And so far, Sharks done a really good job against all these half buys as well. That's the danger when you've got a dominant half running, right? MP9s can be a worry. Let's see what GBB can do. Tough position with his MP9. Hasn't got a flash for support. Gonna have to try and peek it dry. He's done really well to find that opening. Kens will drop. Finding something to work with maybe, but Doc will just take no prisoners, dude. Going for the big swing. Ready and raring to go. Koala finds his. Nithon's PT50 is delivering, and Nithon actually does pick up a weapon to try and do more, but can't deliver. Destino's got that AK. He can deliver here. Oh, it's only the one. It's only the one. Now Tomate has to do something special coming up the vent. He'll fly his way up, and he almost finds RDN, but he spins around in time again. Sharks find a way.
Yeah, that one was a bit scrappy, but I guess they're winning the round, and doesn't really matter how it comes as long as they get the points on the board. This is what I've been talking about from Solid. Constantly been looking to try and take some sort of initiative on the map, normally towards outside. Destiny does well to get a kill. Tomate probably a little bit annoyed that he doesn't at least find one frag coming up the vent undetected. Time now running out of the game here for Solid, Trav.
It's a non-negotiable buy round here. Oh, good catch from GBB. Kens will go down, taps through the smoke. We've got Tomate toward the air vent as well. Able to help out with those taps, but no more damage done other than that one kill. Pro's got 10 assists already, by the way. Clearly doing a lot of damage and a lot of good flash assist work as well on that AWP. He'll miss his shot there, though.
Only just. I wonder if he's been enjoying getting to pick up the AWP again. He used to be the AWPer for the team, wasn't the IGL. Now he's taken over as the IGL after DRG departed. So he's calling against his former captain, Trav.
Yeah.
Kind of like Twists after he moved to Liquid. He was calling there when they played against FaZe, just the first comparison that comes to mind.
True. I'm glad that the Twists Sun-Game Leader era is over now, though.
Yeah, that's one that I can just say to everybody, I told you so. And the proof is there on my X account multiple times. I mentioned it. Okay.
Granted, you're right, but you called it an X account, so your opinion is now void. RDN and Koala will get 2 quick headshots, and Tomate will respond. 3v2, Nithon and Destiny. Can they do anything about this? Nithon's waiting for Destiny to get in toward Mini so he can fly up the vent and try and help out. There's a good remolly. Now he can't really go up, but he's going to choose to go up anyway. And surely he's just a dead man walking. He absolutely is. Koala takes that kill comfortably. And Destiny, he may see a leg, but that is all he's allowed to see. And Koala will run him down. That's a mean-looking Koala in this game, up to 9 and 8. Triple kill. And Sharks just not let up ever since they were 2-0 behind.
Yeah, they look like they mean business right now. They are in some really good form. I mean, that round started off with Solid getting an opening kill. They had an advantage, and that's kind of what we were asking for from them, to try and change the tide here on Nuke, but they still end up falling apart as the round goes on. Nice executes into that A-bomb site coming through from the T side, combining with the players making their way through lobby. Solid will half invest. GBB's gone all in. But, I mean, you could almost already argue that this one may be too far gone.
And these setups are really good right now, right? Like, it's these rounds where they know that Solid might be looking to do something a bit cheeky, might want to try and push aggressive with an MP9, go for a crunch somewhere. Very much a popular breakfast cereal, that lobby crunch, but yeah, just really set up perfectly for it in every single given situation. Watch them lose around from here now, though, because Tomate is boosted up with the MP9, but he's shown his position, and DRG has swung. Oh, it's really messy right now for Solid, and Tomate drops off the boost to try and get the kill. That's a painful one to watch. RDN will stop Nithon, and they're just looking so sharp at the moment.
Yeah, they're looking drilled, man. They're looking dialed in, and like you say, sharp. That's a great word to use. Cutting their way through the Solid team. Nothing solid about the defense right now.
Sharp shark.
Yes, so sharp teeth in the shark.
Aren't shark
Can
teeth
sharks
like a...
regrow their teeth?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think so because like aren't shark
I know
teeth
that
like
crocodiles can.
like a commodity, like an ornament as such? Shark teeth,
I
aren't
think
they?
it's more just like something cool that you find at the bottom of the ocean, like a,
Okay.
yeah, an ornament. I don't know if it's particularly rare though,
No, I mean obviously it depends what
because they
kind of
have a
shark it
lot of
is.
teeth. Because they got like multiple layers of teeth on both top
Yeah.
and bottom row, right?
I mean, any pictures of a great white will tell you that. That's for sure.
Yeah, we used to have a lot of them swimming off the coast here in South Africa, but then they started getting hunted by killer whales, Trav.
Damn.
And so they had to migrate slightly into some colder waters.
Is that a byproduct of global warming? The fact that killer whales and orca are having to try and hunt sharks?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. They're so efficient at hunting them as well. They eat their livers, they eat their organs. It's amazing. Killer whales are my favorite sea animals, Trav.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. They play with seals for fun. They toss them around like a little beach ball, man.
No, I know, but like that's mean to the seals, dude.
But I know it does suck a little bit, but they just seem like they got so much character and personality, and they're dolphins. Killer whales are dolphins. Anyway, enough our little nature lesson. Shifting our focus back to the game here. Sharks up 9-2.
We have one per stream usually. One nature lesson per stream. We try to anyway.
Yeah. It's part of the contract.
Clearly. Doc and Kens will walk down Secret together, but nothing secret about their plan. They are now down in a 4v5. First round where Solid have actually had an opening to work with. In a gun round, it feels like. Maybe in the entire half. I mean, has there been one round where they've had actually a proper advantage? I'm not so sure. I'll check that later. But Sharks looking to entry their way in. It's a really good angle from DRG, though. That's one that's very rarely cleared. I like that one a lot. The headshot angle, the closer headshot angle is often, you get domed there, but on that tighter position on the left, it's usually a bit more successful. And Gafolo will bang Nython out of the round. And gives him a small conversation, but he's got to clear close left in Mini. Well, he's done that, but he's taken a dink for his troubles. Ken's trying to peek to help out. Actually, Gafolo's going to choose to go heaven. Ken's has got the bomb. If he gets his entry into a Destiny, it's an interesting conversation, but not anymore. Not anymore. Destiny will fall in off the rafters as well. Gafolo will try and go for his peak, but he's got 17 seconds to find everyone. He knows exactly where Destiny is, but he's going to try and go for a wall bang. And that nade's about to land. And that is a fitting way to end the half. Solid. They've got 3, but only 3. We'll see if they can get more after the break. Solid are not looking like Orca tonight. There's no hunting sharks. Sharks are doing the hunting. And they're looking incredibly clean thus far. 9-3 on that T side. They'll switch to CT, looking to take the first map in this consolidation final. And RDN, that was a tasty one.
Yum, yum. I'll eat that up every day of the week. Any more, RDN? I still have some space in my belly. Oh, he says, don't mind if I do. I'll serve it all up on a silver platter for you, Hayes. How about a quad kill?
Wow. Ask and ye shall receive.
I could still fit a cherry on the top there, Trav. I've got a tiny bit of room left here,
DRG
RDN.
1v4.
Oh, maybe. Oh, goodness. That would be gluttonous, though, Trav. You're asking for a lot right now, mate. You just had the full buffet provided to you. And you're like, yeah, mate, can I get the dessert menu as well?
Yeah, I'd be too full. But DRG wants to try and fill his boots. But guess what? He needed an ace to win the round. He ain't going to get it. It's RDN's ace. 16-5. That is a beautiful pistol round and just kind of like shows how dominant Sharks are really being in this entire map thus far.
A little bit disappointed we don't get the first kill in the highlights because I think that was probably the most impressive of the lot. But what a way to kick off the second half here for RD and Zhao. An ace. The Ram player never allows Solid to set a foot into that B-bomb site. And Solid now have to full save. I mean, Trav, they won the first pistol. They converted it against the Glocks. And they won the last round of the first half. That's all they've had to piece these 3 rounds together. As for Sharks, I mean, they've just been so convincing going through the motions. It is their map pick, but I was never expecting it to be this dominant. Didn't matter what the map was.
And it's all these sort of fights, right? I know it's Glocks, but look how confident these bursts are long range. RDN in secret with the MP9, wanting some more damage, and there'll be even more coming through from these HEs outside. Every single Solid player is by no means solid anymore. They are looking more like a liquid on 25, 8, 76 and 52 HP. That ain't much overall. And they just won't be able to cross with obviously no smoke. So just hoping that the MP9 here of RDN goes over peaking. You want to give it free money, but they might be forced to. And there we go. Tomate, Deagle, last alive, top silo. And he'll take 22 damage falling down as well.
Here comes the boom. Here comes the...
Oh, look.
Oh, okay. Still kind of worked, actually. In a weird way. Not the way I was expecting.
You predicted the future.
Just not the way that I thought I did. But anyway. Oh, 11-3. Sharks are... I was going to say running away with this. Probably more aptly put swimming away with this right now. In complete control, man. Like you say, really clean shot there from Doc. RDN Zhao gets fed. And they're within touching distance.
And Solid are up the creek without a paddle. And without any sort of protection against dangerous sea creatures either.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, the canoe is capsized, Trav. Everything's floating everywhere.
Yeah, all your, like, I guess you could say, like, recovery equipment and all your safety stuff is just, like the life jackets littered across the river right now.
Not where you need it to be. It's like white water, you know, where it's like aggressive water. RDN Zhao is looking to drown them out. He is forced forward by the molly, though. So it kind of cancels out his impact.
Or if we'll see a bit more as well. We'll have to rotate up heaven. Good dig with the MP9 in toward that hut position. And the fly up the vent from Doc. Almost whiffed there, GBB. Well, there still might be a chance for Koala. He's trying to take advantage and trying to use his maneuverability with the MP9. Look at the jiggle damage. Oh, my word. Nithon cannot do a thing. He falls down off of heaven there. And actually, that is absolutely the right play. It looked crazy, but he knew he had a timing to try and grab on the first duel. Once he got that, he had time to deal with Nithon.
And Koala thought he had slipped the net. Koala's thinking, he's never going to expect me to wrap around the reactor. But Koala's looking for it. And then he just goes all in on this massive swing from Nathan, who can't track him down with the AK. Worst case for Solid. Worst case scenario for Solid coming into that. That was their one gun round here in the second half. Turns out it was the Zambezi River where their canoe was capsized, Trav. It's bull sharks aplenty. And they're like some of the most aggressive sharks out there, mate.
Is that why they're called bull sharks? Because, like, you know, you show them a red flag and...
Oh, no, they're just hyper-aggressive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
what the
goodness.
Americans call them. We call them Zambezi sharks. You find them in the river. They like that brackish water. This is clean, though, from sharks right now. No Trav's Law this time round by the look of things, because this is just dominant right now.
Wow.
Sharks have got the boot on the neck of Solid, and they're crushing them.
Yeah, the
Boom.
better team has won this map. And Matt, it's very easy to tell you why that is. Solid won one gun round.
First pistol and look at the mark when he was holding some angles in some of those rounds.
Yeah.
You know, Nathan with the AWP just not having the same sort of with the impact with the AWP we're used to seeing from him. So that has to change here, Trav. We're going live. Sharks on the CT side, and we're about to get underway.
Here we go, baby. Sharks map away from making that grand final against Fluxo, starting on CT, of course. Solid. We'll have to just forget that nuke ever happened and reset from here. This is their pick. This is one of their strengths. They're happy to be here. They know this is a wonderful opportunity. Pistol underway, already forcing Koala with the duel. He's back under balcony. Nighton is going to go for a proper duel on that one, but it's a leap out, and Koala's going to get gifted a kill. Gafolo, he gets his one, but Doc will go down on that bench push, so it's down to a 2v2 pretty speedily.
Yeah, I think it's okay for Solid. I mean, they won't know, but both these CT players are in towards CT right now. Gafolo's going to step out. He's got the first, and oh my goodness, didn't even look like he stopped moving there. Didn't require that second player. Gafolo gets both the frags, and Sharks will open up first.
Yeah, it's always a surprise how easy it is to get these moving kills on a pistol round, right? It's very high movement accuracy with those. Gafolo running around for a triple kill. And Solid are going to have to be consigned to the full eco. Actually, 3 MP9s for Sharks here, so if they win this round cleanly, they're not going to have the best of buys against the Solid opening gun round. So that's going to be the true test for Solid. They're going to need to get past that round.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, for Sharks, winning a bonus with the MP9s is going to be worst case scenario for the T side.
It'll be a good opportunity for Solid, that's for sure. Playing against those SMGs, like you say. They don't want to feed the SMGs too much here, though. Give them some extra cash. Artie and Zhao jiggling with the smoke out. Doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks. So he's just going to look to try and keep Solid at bay, and that's going to force Solid to pack their bags and go back from whence they came.
Haven't got much in their bags, though, I'm afraid. Just one Deagle and a P250. That doesn't take up much room. Just need a holster for that and a bit of a... Maybe even if you're super fancy, some kind of, like, shoulder holster as well. So you can whip it out when it needs to come through. But I'm going to go down pretty comfortably here, you'd think. Ken's been spotted out, though, so he could get rushed down. But thankfully there's teammates elsewhere to cover that, so he'll get dinked. But he's alive, and all 5 will stay up for Sharks. And as I mentioned now, the 3 MP9s still in play. Solid will know what's up with the MP9s that got the kills. They'll know that there are at least 2 on the server, and they'll know they probably won't get upgraded. What do Sharks do with them? Do they go aggressive, or do they just trust in their aim? Because right now, it seems like whatever they do kind of turns to gold.
Normally it would be the former, right? Normally a team in the situation would try and make a play with the MP9s, expect someone to drop down lowers or try and get early palace control, maybe like a double ramp push. So with that in mind, you'd imagine Solid would expect it, and they'd play slowly and just try and punish any aggression that could come their way. But no, they've set themselves up at the bottom of ramp. Oh my goodness. Arnie and Zhao's on the opposite side of the smoke grenade right now. He commits to the spray. He's done so much damage. There's a team kill in the mix. Wait, to mate. Ardian had died. Now you've killed your teammate. No. Doc is going to get in on the action as well with his SMG. Frag and further damage found. And it's a man advantage for Sharks.
Yeah, and Gafolo doing the right thing here to wait for the rotations. Koala's being an absolute nuisance, and heading toward default. It's going to do big damage to both, and that's exactly when Gafolo peaks. They all take damage, right? There's not one player above 46 health, but they go about that one so well, do Sharks.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, just feels like you cut off one head of the Hydra and 2 more appear there for Sharks. There were just so many layers to that defense. Solid get completely out-muscled. And Trav, is that the best option when you know you're playing against 3 MP9s? To go for something so simple and direct and be fighting through smoke grenades like that doesn't really feel like you've really tried to milk the round for everything you can before you commit. There was far more juice to be squeezed from that round there from Solid, I reckon. And now it means when that next gun round comes through, it's going to be against an AWP probably and full rifles. So that golden opportunity has been passed.
And at this point, right, it feels like Solid need to win one of these rounds, one of these Tech 9 buys to really kickstart them, get the economy going. But they're going to get absolutely munched up by Ken's on short. That's a beautiful hold. The Academy stand-in these playoffs, once again doing a good job when needed. RDM waiting to see if there's a peek coming through that top column smoke. There absolutely is. GBB will go down. And Tomate, well, he might be red as a tomato right now because he's all alone and a bit worrisome about where this series is going, I think, for his team.
I mean, I am. Just with the way that this entire matchup has played out so far, they got destroyed on Nuke 13-3. Come into Mirage. It is still early days, of course, but still sort of similar signs here on Mirage compared to what we saw on Nuke. Koala will finish off the job. Just look at the kill count. 5 frags and 4 rounds right now for Solid. Those numbers are going to have to improve as we do go into an all-important gun round. It's time to pitch up, Trav. Time for them to do what they haven't been able to throughout the series so far. Show us that they have what it takes to be competitive with Sharks.
I know it's pistols, right? But even that 3K for Ken's shouldn't be that easy, right? Like, usually that sort of position is traded after 2 at most. And, yeah, a bit disappointed with the showing from Solid so far today. And they'll be the first to feel the exact same way. Don't need me to tell them that. Destiny trying to go for an opening pick, but look at the damage already, right? I mean, they got some mid-control. They got Destiny in toward that Delpan position. I believe that's what that's called. Old school call-out. But he's already taken 50 damage as the nade comes flying through toward it. Thankfully, GBB's found an opening, but he's been taken down to 19 for his troubles.
Well, Koala actually went searching through apartments. Doc's going to go searching as well. He's found a kill, but he just pulls his knife out. He doesn't expect Tomate to be there as well. Certainly an oversight there from RDN Zhao. Nice nade going to be dropped there as well. RDN does turn back. Excuse me, it was actually Doc who had the oversight. It's RDN who's looking to try and rescue the round here for his team. It's going to be a smoke fade potentially from Tomate. Yes, he has come through the smoke. So he could catch someone off guard on this bomb site. Does he pay attention to the fact that wasn't RDN Zhao? Yes, you can see him clock it. You can see him realize. Wow. But that's only the first part of the job required. RDN is locking it down, and he may have to do more.
Super assertive there from RDN Zhao to get the nade toward ramp and then to go for the peak aggressively while exposing himself to connector. Ken needs to make sure he gets this kill. Don't play too much trigger discipline there. He will manage to find the one, but Nithon has the path and he has a trade first to get that path. To get over toward B, get the bomb planted, and get himself set up in an afterplant with the AWP as well. This is going to be hard for RDM, but if there's any man I can trust to maybe get it done, it would be him. Working his way in through short. He's got an incendiary, but does he guess it needs to be put in toward Van? He might just throw it deep apps or something. He's unsure about where Nithon has positioned himself and actually chooses to throw it market of all places. He's got no clue where Nithon has played there, and that's actually quite good positioning from Nithon to be as unpredictable as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking for Ken's, once he gets that kill on the stairs player, he seemed like he had an idea there was another player in the vicinity. He doesn't actually have to swing there. RDN does everything he can to try and keep that round in his team's control, try and keep his team in the contest. But his teammates just continue to fall around him. You see here from Ken's, he probably could have just stayed in connector and tried to use the 2v1 to finish off the job. But it will be Solid who have got themselves on the board. And interestingly enough, use a pause immediately after winning that round.
Yeah, it was a close 1v1. So maybe just giving themselves a chance to breathe in what was a tight round. Maybe the comms were getting a little bit spicy. A little bit loud. But as we always say, can't just be a flash in the pan here. They've won their gun round, and in a second of the entire game, by the way. With just that one player alive. So 3 kills in play in the following with limited util on DRG.
Yeah, and that emphasizes your point that they can't afford to just have that as one round in isolation. Ninth and Scopin's surely going to have been heard there. So you don't think Koala's going to be flirting with the idea of actually taking a line down apartments. And there we go. It's going to be enough to send Nathan packing. This is Solid's opportunity to get themselves in the game because there won't be any much money in the bank for Sharks going into the next round if they lose this one. How far does RDN go from here? DRG is on the platform right now.
Yeah. And you can see feet from there if RDN did push a little bit deeper, but they will both move away at the same time. Ken's going to have to play in front of the Molotov here, but he's going to be playing in front of the Molotov to help Doc. And look at this mid-pinch. Doc calmly bursts away at the second kill as well. He was whiffing a bit, but recovers it in the end. Makes it look pretty easy, actually, when he was in the middle of whiffing to actually recover that spray. But look at DRG. He's flanking all the way around through A. He's got Tomate with him. They need to push together because the bomb's in mid, but Doc is so ready for that. Now Tomate is stuck on the stairs. He's got util, but can't really use it to any good effect. Gonna have to win clean duels. That's the first. Good swing on toward Doc, but he needs to somehow find the bomb. Koala is actually dropping down toward window right now. That could be awkward, but Gafolo has flanked all the way around from jungle. Koala will take a lot of damage after the after the round was done. But Gafolo's movement works it out for Sharks. Nice try for Solid, but I really like that mid-round maneuver from the CT side.
And that extra layer that they've thrown to the mix as well there for Sharks is what makes the difference, because Koala's the B anchor, but he's actually joined up with his teammates here to re-aggress into middle. Had it just been the 2 normal players, the Con and the Cat player, then it would have been a 2-for-2 trade and it would have been an even numbers game. But Koala joining up with them allowed for them to get that extra kill and then therefore secure the bomb, get all the information, and get the numbers advantage, which made a big difference at the end of the day there for Sharks. 5-1 here at AK for Destiny. Can he find a way? Has he got that magic about him right now, Trav? I think he's going to phase straight through the smoke here. He's going to roll the dice, go for a bit of a gamble, and it makes sense. Why wouldn't he in a round like this? But he's just gone straight into Doc.
Yeah, literally as he makes that play is when Doc rotates round, right? That's actually a bit of a shame.
And then Nathan wants the AK. Doc is being fed right now, and he is farming up Solid. That's a quad kill, as easy as you like.
Easy as pie.
Yeah, someone call a doctor, and not for Sharks. Hens has been active on Catwalk throughout the half. I think that's something Solid could maybe try and take advantage of. He's often committed in the corner. Maybe you just smoke off connector, smoke off snipers, try and force the fight there, see if you can draw him into a fight and get an opening kill perhaps. Something's going to have to give here, and soon. They've only won 4 rounds in the series at large. Sharks have managed 19 between the 2 maps.
Yeah, it's not the close matchup that I was hoping for. Not the game that I hoped Solid would be giving Sharks. And once again, aggressive toward mid. Look at Doc's positioning. There are 2, make that 3, working their way through underpass. And surely Doc will get taken down this time. He will, but there's more where that came from. And once again, RDN recovers.
No.
Thankfully, Ninth on top mid gets the kill. And that was a bit of an overswing for sure.
Yeah, that was the moment where he gave it up. All his hard work gets undone. And Gafolo now posted in jungle, but unfortunately for him, Tomato's heading towards this B bomb site, and they realize there's nobody home. Now, does Gafolo even want to attempt this? I don't think he will. I mean, they've got some breathing room. They have got some money as well. So maybe he could try and hold an angle and see if he gets offered up anything, but Tomato's already taken full control of market now. Does Gafolo actually cross the threshold into the crosshair? He does. Tomato's just out in the open there. Gafolo's never going to expect that, and finally, Solid will get a second round on the board.
Very bitty, though, for Solid in this game. That round was won due to some mistakes from Sharks, not necessarily their own brilliance, right? RDN, as you say, getting that 1 kill to recover it into a 2v2. Could have just escaped up Con, but tries to kill the AWP top mid. Not really necessary. Again, we're being nitpicky because we seen these small things happen before for Sharks, being a little bit over-aggressive when it matters. I really like the mid-pincers they've been putting in, though. I think that's been really hard for Solid to deal with. Even though they got the opening there, and they had 3 through under to kind of give Doc no chance whatsoever. There was always a threat coming in from nearly every single angle. Short, window, con. But Solid were up to the task on this occasion.
Yeah, able to weather the storm and handle everything that was being thrown at them, and then walk away with an advantage, ultimately. Sharks got to just make sure that they don't let that door remain open for Solid by overplaying some of these situations, by over-swinging, by over-committing. Got to keep that discipline up at the level it's been throughout the series to get them to this point for that spot in the grand final that's up for grabs right now. They want that rematch with Fluxo, Trav. It's what both these teams are in pursuit of right now, but only one will get the opportunity.
Not sure what the pause is for. We don't have any dropouts from the server at the moment. Maybe it's a ping issue or something like that. Who knows? I'm keeping an eye on the admin channel. Yeah, it is a ping issue. Damn, I got it right.
Want to give me the lotto numbers now, Trav?
32, 64, 93, 5, and the special round number with the circle around it, the bonus number, is 7.
Okay, well, there we go. Did you guys get that? If you do win, you have to send a portion to Trav. That's just the rule.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
Wouldn't it be funny if that actually happened?
The rest to me.
Wonder what the odds of that are. Do you think it's like 0.00000000001% chance or something like that?
Yeah, probably. What are the chances of Solid winning this round? It looks like there's going to be another skirmish in towards middle right now. Doc is all in. He is fully committed. Incendiary towards the back of the middle, though. Smoke to extinguish. As you say, Doc committed again. They know he's here. Nathan will step out with confidence to get that kill. And the aggression has paid off. It worked out against Sharks, is what I was going to say. Destiny will be able to evade that nade, and they've got Ken's locked into connector. Koala should follow suit as well. Only 18 health for him. There's been a lot going on in this round, but Solid will prevail.
Yeah, Solid trying a bit more aggressive moves in the mid right now, going for swings as 3. We saw 3 through under in the previous round, and sort of 3 or 4 straight up to top mid. And again, Doc trying that aggressive move to play under the ledge of Catwalk, but the 2 times he's played that, he's been almost hard countered by the plan that Solid have put into place, funnily enough. So frustrating for Doc, but the answer back was close, not close enough.
For me, it just feels unnecessary for Sharks to be taking those sort of forward positions and forcing the fights. They've looked so good in the rounds where they've relied more on their structure, their rotations, their trading, they're playing off of one another, not just getting very aggressive, getting on the front lines and just trying to bully Solid out of the round. It's kind of like leveled the playing field. It's made things simpler for Solid because all they've had to do to win these rounds is frag. They haven't had to have any strategic element to their game. Haven't had to try and force rotations and then predict where the weaker bomb site's going to be. It's just been win the gunfights in the middle, win the round. As simple as that. And for a team that have been struggling, that's probably their best chance of getting back into it, right, Trav? Because they don't have to do anything elaborate to win these rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I say, it is just the duels they need to win. It got a little bit scary into the previous round, right, when they almost got recovered into an even standpoint again. Lots of damage done on that second player, but had 1 short, 1 con. That was obviously information that was very well known. The players flanking from A gave that chance to Ken's in con, or gave Ken's in con no chance, I should say. So, yeah, I think Solid are looking a lot better at the moment. And they're improving as the game has gone on. That's showing via the scoreboard and via the pure eye test here. The eye test sometimes never lies.
First half? Well, it's the most reliable metric of them all. It's the truest, Trav.
Unless you're
because you don't have to
tripping.
Yeah, fair enough. Then you can't really believe what's right in front of your eyes. I feel like that sometimes now with this like 5 days in a row of the midnight to 3 a.m. stint. Just don't
Yeah.
know what's real anymore.
True. I mean, like, we had that 6 BO3 in 24-hour day where we had 3 for 1
Yeah.
tournament. We had EU, ECL, and of course we had this region as well for ECL. That was obviously that ended at like 2 a.m. our time, and we had to be up at 8 a.m. my time for a different tournament as well. So listen,
Yeah.
we're on the grind lately, guys. We're on the grind.
All completely self-inflicted for anybody that was wondering.
Exactly. We love what we do.
There we go, exactly. That is the motivation at the end of the day. Sharks motivated to try and get a lead out of this first half, and they have been able to go blow for blow in this all-important gun round. Got that man advantage. Solid have got middle control, something they've been quite familiar with in these past few rounds. Oh, Gafolo. He's going to have to run out. There's no one holding for him, though.
Oh,
Why are they not
nice.
holding for him? What's the point of throwing the util?
Yeah, but while that's definitely the mistake, I think it's really nice that Ken's peeks from short, as Gafolo has to peek as well. That's like a very
True.
short-term instant communication where Gafolo's like, guys, I've been mollied. Ken's, can you peek with me? Can you peek with me? They do, and it works.
Yeah, and considering that Ken's has just joined the team, it's good to see that he's on the same wavelength in that regard. He's 11-5 right now. He's having a great time of it. Top of the server, in fact. So he really is delivering for Sharks here in this playoffs bracket. And now it's only Nathan left remaining. This round has certainly fallen apart for Solid. Sharks will get themselves up to 7. Now, the conversation shifts to, can they make it 8?
Another kill for Ken's. Kenzink. Not sure how we're supposed to be saying his full name. Ken's NK. I mean, Ken's is easy, which is why we're going for that. To say, as in the quick play-by-plays. Here's RDN doing his work. The FAMAS sound, slow motion, sounds a lot better than it does at full pelt.
Yeah, true, actually. It's quite a satisfying sound in slow motion.
Yeah.
I think Solid need 5 here, Trav. I mean, it's not the end of the world if they do only have these 4 going into their CT side, but I reckon a 5th would go a long way in aiding their cause. Look at GBB. He's up catwalk so early on in the round. He's going to destroy Ken's. RDN looking to get one back. He does, but he's been mollied out into the open. At least he's able to get a decent chunk of damage done before he does go down. Destiny. What is that adjustment there? And he's going to be able to follow that up with a big wide swing on Gafolo. That is indeed 5.5 for Solid, but now the question is that enough?
Sharks swimming their way to the grand final, but Solid are recovering some form. We said they look better on Mirage. They are looking better on Mirage. It wasn't necessarily a huge achievement considering how they looked on Nuke, but they are here to play now. And on CT, they could have something to say about this game. Sharks on the pistol. They've got barely any utility at all, actually. They're going to try and force their way in toward A, but the cleanup, well, I can't even describe it because it's instant. All the kills come flying through. 2 for Nython, 2 for Destiny in the matter of a few seconds.
Yeah, that was flawless. A perfect way for them to kind of set things in motion in the second half as well, to set the pace, to set the tone. Really clean kills being landed throughout that pistol round. There was a moment there where Sharks had some jewels, couldn't hit those instant shots, and who knows what happens if they do connect on those shots, but now they're actually going to force buy off the back of losing that pistol, Trav. Lots of utility, 4 smokes, 5 flashes, and they're all heading in towards that A bomb site. Solid are probably not expecting a buy here. There's going to be a smoke jungle, a smoke stairs, and then a waterfall out of Palace. It's only Tomato's home right now.
Oh, they need to chain these flashes well, though, and that's not really worked out too well. Tomato and Destiny haven't really been blinded up at all. The 1 kill is enough for the plant, though, but Ken's taken so much damage trying to cross and getting into CT. He's going to have a flash to help, but the nade has already come through from GBB. That's removed him, and RDN feels like he has to go aggressive. Looks for something, and gets nothing. Doc will do exactly the same. He'll go down, and this is now looking a little bit more impressive for Solid. Sharks, they got the plant again, but they won't be buying again, I don't think. Not fully.
Honestly, I think that Sharks should have just held off for an extra second there. They start to run out of Palace before the jungle smoke has bloomed. So they lose a player before the util's actually taken effect there. Getting slightly ahead of themselves. Now they will have to settle for the save. Maybe a bit of like a deagle spread because of the bomb plants and that force buy round they lose. You see here, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I love that we get to see it in the replay. That cost them a life unnecessarily. And Solid were never really at any risk of losing that round, despite the fact they lost side control.
Oh, a bit of a spam there from Koala. Doesn't take his time on that one, and that means that the rifle of Nython gets away with his life. Ken's actually in con, but there's a second player right next to him, which of course he's not going to be able to spin in time to get. Both were reloading, and it's a bit of a messy round coming in here. Somehow Doc's been able to deal with GBB as well. They have got FAMAS picked up now, and RDN will manage to escape at a ramp, but 2v3, Bomb kind of stuck top mid, and look at DRG. He's pushing all the way through. He's in a great position. He's going to hear the running of RDN. Oh, he knows he has a freebie. There we go. And he sees the corner of Doc there top mid. It's Tomato to take him down. And Solid have the lead here.
First time in the series outside of the pistol and the conversion in that previous map. Been a while since they tasted the sweet nectar of the lead. And it's here on their map pick as well, looking to level up the series and take us to Ancient. We know that Solid are certainly Ancient enjoyers. So they'd back themselves to get the job done if they can get this to a third, which is looking likely at this point. Let's see, what do Sharks have to show us here on this T side? They've got to give us something now here in this first gun round, Trav. Otherwise, it's going to be 10-7. That'll be very difficult to reconcile on the T side, I think. So, for me, this is the round they have to get things going.
Exactly. I do worry a little bit for Sharks now on this current form. They've tapered off a little bit now. So they need to make sure we see what they have been showing over the course of the series. They've taken mid-control. They've shown presence there. But they won't commit to anything off the back of it early round. Leaving Doc in underpass for a watch of aggression. Thinking this is the round that maybe they'll go pushing somewhere. Why not, really? When you've already got a couple of rounds in a row and got some money built up. But Solid are doing the right thing. They're playing it properly. Nothing too aggressive. DRG in tasked with jump spotting B. Always a very painful thing to have to do, but Well, he'll have a utility to use, but they're going to go straight through his smoke. Now he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Ken's looking to clear the site. Nithon's already found an opening toward RDN as well. And DRG has found a one as well on the other side of the map. Gafolo and Doc will trade their way through. They have to scramble to pick up the bomb and get it planted. But this is very retakeable for Solid.
It is, but very good work from Doc to get that kill in middle and then get out with his life intact so he can affect this post plant. He doesn't think, okay, I've done my job. Maybe I can get one more kill. Let me just be overly aggressive and see if I can get something. And you're right, Trav. They're going to pull the plug on the round here. Oh, Sharks, that's a good way for them to get things going here. Pretty simple approach from them. A flash over the top, lines up that B anchor. He does quite well, does that B anchor. I think it was Nathan with the FAMAS, if I'm not mistaken. Because DRG was... Or was it Nathan Cat DRG on the B-bomb? So that probably makes more sense.
Yes,
But the point I'm getting at is he actually stayed alive for quite long. Stayed alive for a while, but unfortunately he still went down. Like I said, I imagine if Doc does get that kill and then hangs right in the middle and dies, there's no way Solid are saving in the 3v2 there. They would have gone for the retake. So that's just the value in the preservation of Doc's life.
Yeah. Solid didn't even do a bad job necessarily in that round. But, yeah, it's always so disappointing, right? When it's a 3v3, you've actually got a kit on 2 players, but AWP on a retake, you can understand why they pulled the plug. They want to preserve their money because they know this could be a tight game. If they lose the economy battle over the course of this, they're out of the tournament.
Here we go. Mid-take coming through from Sharks. Nathan's committed with the AWP. He's into tunnels. Or Trav, I know you're loving this. You're salivating at this prospect right now, aren't you? No way to escape. Trav's favorite. Nathan's fully committed. He's just hoping and praying nobody comes through from backside of apartments. Fully gambling.
Yeah, and, well, he'll be safe right now. And, of course, when he hears a presence in mid, it'll be a trample up toward Con. He will go for a peek. There we go. It does take the kill. And that's the thing, right? It works here because Sharks had no one in their T default to punish that underpass position. And look at this. So they're going to peek even further. Will this be a bit too much? I'm not so sure. Hang on. They're going to deal with Glython. The molly's going to spread. They try and do what Sharks did so well on their CT side with their mid pincer. But they've lost the duels overall. And Sharks have got a 3v2 off the back of it all.
They have, but they are somewhat working against the clock. 32 seconds on the clock here. Bomb is still working its way through Palace right now. Tomato's worried about a potential boost up through snipers and then a wraparound CT, so he has given up some space on the, say, bomb side. Holding on from a distance right now. Here the 2 players will come through from Palace. Tomate is spotted, and he'll be traded instantly by Koala. Solid have tried to hedge their bets, Trav, with a player on either bomb side. And that means DRG is now left alone in the 1v2 and kind of seems like he wants to feel this one out. I mean, Ken's is low. So if he can get the kill on Koala, he has a good chance, and he should realize that they're still playing towards mid. He hasn't clocked it. Ken's will catch him with his back turn, and Sharks have regained the lead.
Yeah, they heard him rotate in there at the very last second too. You could see Ken's still worried, obviously, about him jumping out window and going bottom con, but here's the battle I was talking about. Molotov spreading toward Nithon. He was waiting for one more pick on, like, below half health there, because he was trying desperately to peek with his teammates. Didn't want to just go down, get stuck behind a molly, get wide swung from above the underpass position, and just go down without actually trying something. I understand why Nithon did what he did, but now it's Sharks in a good position again. Solid are going to be on a half investment here. Kevlar, MP9, P250, Deagle. And Sharks on Nuke were very, very good at dealing with these low investment rounds.
Yeah, true. They were proficient. Should be able to get themselves up to double digits, but like you say, there's still a half investment for Solid, so it's not like it's going to be a free round here for the T side. Sharks are looking locked in. They're 4 rounds away from getting themselves into the grand final. However, Solid are 5 rounds away from taking this to a third map. Fine margins. Going through the motions. Smoke snipers, smoke and connector. RDN taking control. Very similar sort of structure here from Sharks in most of these rounds in their T side so far.
Oh, Doc's in a great position. He knows there's one more player in there as well because he sees what they're planning. And getting the boost set up. 3-2 piece for the Doctor. What's up, Doc? Destiny says. I'll take him down. AK recovered. Molly top mid could force RDN into the open, but RDN's done a brilliant job. He's taking on DRG and Destiny out, and now it's only GBB with the MP9.
It was a nice plan in theory, flushing him out into the open, but that's ultimately what costs them both of their lives. And as expected, it is going to be Sharks who win the round here and get themselves up to 10. Solid are on the brink here, Trav, on the brink of being eliminated from ECL Season 49, South America. Been a great run from them so far up until this point, but they don't want to end it here. They did so well in the group stage to top the group. Started off their journey in the playoffs in the second round of the upper brackets. Won a game there as well against Swingers. Dropped to the lower bracket last night by Fluxo. That's how Fluxo got themselves into the grand final. And Solid, well, their run here in the lower bracket might be brought to a swift end.
I said, what's up, Doc? But I've forgotten the reference. That's Bugs Bunny, right? Looney Tunes?
Yeah. So you
Okay.
didn't forget it. That's absolutely
Okay,
on the
good.
money. Yeah.
Thank you.
A classic.
I watched so much Looney Tunes and like Scooby-Doo when I was growing up, man. It was like breakfast, children / mid-morning TV.
Were you more of a Nickelodeon kid or a Cartoon Network kind of kid?
The thing is, like in the UK, we kind of like we had that, sure, but like in the UK, it's like CBBC and CBBS for even younger children. So
I see.
yeah, there were some bangers that were on both Nickelodeon and CBBC. I think, like that they would get both networks. There's a lot to talk about. Fairly Odd Parents is a banger if you want to talk about, that sort of era.
Yeah, that
Nice
was a goodie.
nade.
Here we go. Sharks turn up the wicket towards the safe bomb side. Ken's leads the charges at a good map so far. It's going to be a deep jungle smoke. There is an AWP in CT though. Nathan's drawn blood. Ken's is forcing the issue. He's gone deep. He's found a kill, but Tomate will get the trade through the smoke. Nathan's found another as well. The AWP is doing heavy lifting from CT right now, and well, he's not content with just those 2 kills. Evidently, he wants to get some more. He needs to be careful not to offer himself up here, and he will. He'll go down. He's been punished for his transgressions. Kafolo's gotten 2. It's a 2 versus 2.
Oh my god, Nithon fumbling the jump on ticket box twice over, and RDN still full HP. Goodness gracious, GBB desperately needed that kill, and he's going to be able to get it only just by a hair. And now Gafolo, 24 HP, very hard clutch, and yes, headshot angle being played by GBB, and their blushes, and Nithons in particular, will be spared. Gap is 1 round again.
I mean, very good work there from Nathan, but like you say, maybe kind of gives away to Sharks to get back into the round. I think Ken's getting traded through the smoke was a really important kill for Solid as well, just to stunt the approach. And Sharks will have another buy at their disposal, but if they lose this round here, scoreline leveled up, and then Solid have that upper hand in the economic battle and could be able to get a lead. Should get a lead. Where does Nathan go with his AWP this time round, Trav? Opposite side of the map. Polar opposite side.
Like this from Sharks, they're going a bit more aggressive, but they're getting picked off. I wanted to get up toward Cat a little bit faster there, get through B, go for a bit of an early round split, but now they're back into a 2v5. Bomb still top mid. So they're looking good here. The nade from Doc will connect, but the round should be theirs, and it should be 10-all, and it should be Sharks on very low money.
Yeah, certainly is seeming that way. Is there even a world in which Sharks may be considered a save from here on both Kens and Doc? I mean, it would just detach them economically from the rest of their team.
But it's the right call, I think, no? Like, you found an AK on Doc now, obviously. They've got Ken's on the AWP saving that. It's all they're going to have. They need something in round 21. Something at all.
But then that means in round 22, you'll have 2 players on low money and then 3 players who can full buy.
I know. It's awkward.
They were up 10-8, Trav, and it's looking a lot more bleak now.
It's like there's no right answer here, right? Like...
Yeah, true. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You want to keep what you've got,
because what's the alternative? Try and go into a bomb site in a 2v4 and almost certainly lose the round.
Yeah, and Solid, they need to build up money of their own, by the way. They know how critical that is late game. It's only a few rounds left of regulation, of course, but 4 alive is critical for them. Here's Nitron's opening pick. Koala kind of just crouch picks into the angle. Just a dry swing, really. And look what they managed to piece together, right? With the save, they can get Koala on a Galil and a smoke. But RDN and Kens have to go with Tech 9s with very limited util. And it's a horrible buy to have to deal with at 10 rounds all in a really important game.
Yeah, and if you lose this, then you have to eco in the next, and that's 12-10 for Solid. They're on the brink of winning their map pick and taking us to a third. And with so much on the line, that does seem fitting, Trav. Nathan has been very impactful in these past few rounds with his AWP. A bomb site 2 rounds ago, found 2 kills. Then B bomb site in the next round, gets an opening frag there. This time he's in middle. He's just omnipresent with this AWP and finding impact everywhere he goes. And now it's a 5v3. Sharks are falling apart.
Python does have a lot of impact still. I'm happy to see that. He was one of the big question marks when he was on that Red Canids roster. He was their big weak link as the AWP IGL on that team, I believe. And it was a big struggle. Kind of, you know, some people argued that his performance in one of those RMRs of days gone by was one of the main reasons why a great qualifier for the likes of Davideus didn't go rewarded with a major at the time. Obviously, times have moved on since then. Davideus has moved to Pain, looks amazing. Pain still making changes, trying to figure out those changes, getting DGT. That's very exciting for them if they work that one out. They're not there yet, but it's a very exciting team when it comes to pure firepower. And again, like we spoke about it, worst case scenario for Sharks, they'll be able to barely rebuy any utility here. Like Dot can buy 1 flash, but they're going to keep a core 3 of rifles. They know they have no other option. It's a horrible situation to be forced into, but T-side saves are the only way here.
I'm just wondering, what can they change? Like, what's actually going to give here? Nathan's just been picking them off left, right, and center throughout these past couple rounds, from 8-10 for Sharks to being down 11-10. And now their backs are firmly against the wall. And Solid are within touching distance of Ancient.
It's the same buy, right? Like, the 2 players who die can just buy 2 Tech 9s. I've got a Mac 10 on RDN, sure, but you know, it makes no difference, really. Yeah, I understand why they're using the TAC now. It's one of those like rare, like no Counter-Strike game is the same. That's what we love about the esport. Every single match is different. But you know, this is quite a unique scenario for Sharks, and it's a unique scenario in the fact that it's a crap scenario that they're in.
Yeah, probably a pretty good way of wording it. Round in and round out, they haven't really had everything they'd like to work with, not like full utility, all the firepower that they'd love to have as well. They will throw the smokes in towards middle. It's RDN who's here with the Mac 10, but then everybody else is headed in towards the speed bomb site. It's going to be an all-in Hail Mary play here for Sharks.
Yeah, and look, they've used nearly all their utility already. Like they're expending quite a lot of it. They've got flashes, And that's the main thing that they're hoping will get them into a B properly here. But DRG is ready. Oh, if he throws at HE, could be so much damage. But he puts a few bullets through the smoke. And that is more than enough. 2 kills immediately. Sharks have completely capitulated at the end of this T side. Solid, showing why they have the record they do on Mirage right now.
All right, well, bunker down, boys, because it's going to be happening for a 4th round in a row here, where Sharks are going to be looking to save with a couple players to try and give themselves something to work with in the next round, but it's never actually worked out with what they've carried over into that next round.
Oh,
I mean, DRG, I think he just heard, like, one flash being thrown over the top through apartments, and he's like, yep, that's my cue. They're on the other side of the smoke, and he just destroys both of those players, and with that goes any chance of Sharks winning.
So
this has just looked really easy for Solid in these past 4.
It really has, right? So what did you have for dinner tonight?
Sure, I got to think back now.
Yeah, the classic. You remember like stats from a game from 3 years ago, but you don't remember what you had for dinner.
Like a couple hours ago. I had some leftover pizza, actually. Nothing too special, Trav.
Okay.
Just bang it in the microwave. Yeah, unfortunately, not really an unsurprising answer. What about you, Trav? What did you eat earlier? Probably more entertaining than what we're watching right now.
You know, I had that. I told you sometimes I have those like rice noodles with like the stir fry. I had that, but with like a more like vegetable stock rice mixture, and it was very nice.
Okay,
with, like deep fried,
lovely.
And the deep fried tofu wasn't like dry and crunchy, which is sometimes how I like it. It was like absorbing the stock, so it was like getting all the flavor in it. It's nice.
Much better than day-old pizza, I'll tell you that much.
Isn't like day-old pizza...
I did have some brownies, though, which was nice.
Okay, fair enough. Isn't day-old pizza like... some people actually really like it because it's got like a different flavour, a different texture. Like it's weird, it's a bit flabby, but, you know, it's got some sort of desire to it.
I think those people are psychopaths, Trav.
Okay, fair enough. Listen...
Give me a pizza as it's come out of the wood fire oven, man. Eat it there and then. That's as good as it's ever going to be. It doesn't get better.
There is a type of bread that I have, though. Like, fresh bread, like, on the day it's made, is amazing. But sometimes day-old, like, bread that's been, like, freshly baked that you'd get by in the shop or whatever has, like, a certain taste to it and a certain, like, texture, which is, like, not nicer, but a different type of nice, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone in chat. Maybe I'm going crazy. It is currently nearly 1 a.m, so...
I'll have to take your word for it. What I will say is curries, for example, are generally pretty good the next day. Like, they're better the next day because they've had more time for the flavors. Just kind of...
That's fair.
Embolden. Stews, another one of those foods, I'd say.
A little bit of a pause coming in here, and honestly, even though it's a tech... Sharks need it because they've had to deal with this same purchase 3 rounds in a row and they've found no progress.
Yeah, this is the 4th round in a row now where they've had this broken by. And like you say, it's kind of timely, this tech issue, because it might just completely ruin the momentum for Solid and force them to have a bit of a standing start to finish off the job here, Mirage.
You could also, like, you could say maybe it would distract Solid. I think it could, like, as you mentioned, focus their minds. Like, I think that's a fair way of looking at it too. Because they know they're in a great position. They want to take it to a 3rd. Last time they faced Sharks on Mirage, that was in the all-important major qualifier. They won it 13-3. Of course, that was online too. That was a big talking point, the fact that the major qualifiers are online. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that too many times in the future. But it's a relevant result between these two. Production going through a fly-through of the skins while we wait. We appreciate that.
Do we have any word? Oh, okay. It looks like the delay is actually one of the Solid players having some connection issues. Is back in the server.
Yeah, some lag I've seen.
Ah. We found the culprit.
How dare they?
Yeah, do better, honestly. Looking at the kits on the ground there, reminds me of that game where there was a pistol round. Was it Virtus Pro? where the coach joined the team, bought a kit, then disconnected, dropped a kit in spawn. Kit was picked up by the CT side in the pistol round, and then they won the round by defusing the bomb in under 10 seconds with the kit that was dropped from their coach that had joined before the pistol round had started. Do you remember that?
And they all had armor, right? Is that what you're saying? Like, they all had Kevlar, the players?
So exactly, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I do.
And they won the round
that.
with the defuse that was under 10 seconds. The kit was actually the defining factor there.
I do remember that. I very much remember that.
I think it was Virtus Pro, but I can't remember for sure.
Definitely someone being a little bit cheeky.
May even have been on Mirage, actually.
Maybe. For some reason I had a remembrance that it's like the old version of Train when it was still in the pool, but I don't think it was that long ago. Because obviously, like, Train
it was very long ago.
Oh, it was long ago. So maybe it was Train then. Maybe it was like the old version of Train. Maybe. Nice craft there. The Inheritance AK with the gold mail stickers.
It actually was Virtus Pro. I've just found a thread on on Reddit about it.
Okay.
All right, it's fairly convoluted. There's a lot of different replies and comments. I've seen enough, Trav. I've seen enough. My brain can't comprehend everything that's going on there. But yeah, just a fun little bit of lore, I guess.
Just a little note that this isn't the longest tactical timeout in history for Solid right now. This is translated back into a tech again. So just waiting to see this one figure out. And yeah, I think we've got a little bit longer to wait, I'm afraid. So I think what we probably should do for a second or so is maybe just like stop talking for a bit, save our voices, throw it to a break, and when we're back, we'll see if we can end off this game and Solid can take us to a third. We're back. Apologies for the delay, my friends, but we're ready to get going again, and are Solid ready to take us to a third. Sharks have another round to come in here with this broken buy they have found no success with, and they're kind of choked at the end of this game, it feels like a little bit. Could it end here? Oh, hang on, though. The pause, and then the push, and Doc and Koala will get a couple of kills, and Destiny can only get a 1-for-1. 3v2 for Sharks. They managed to break into the site. They've got Koala and Gofolo alive, but hang on, the bomb's been plotted in the open, and Nython didn't swing wide enough to see that. It will be allowed to be planted, and it gives Sharks an opportunity now in the 2v2.
Oh, no! Nython's taking so much damage to the flames. On top of Ticket Booth, he's burned out of the round. And it's all on GBB. Big flank coming through from him. He should catch Gofolo, who isn't even considering this in the slightest, but there's no world in which he expects RDN to be in sandwich, right, Trav? Surely not. RDN just has to stay bunkered down, and he'll get this kill offered up for free. He doesn't get an instant lead, though. There is a turn and a burn from GBB, but Sharks have done it. They've kept themselves alive, and they're in pursuit of overtime.
Aye, aye, aye. Such an important game. Sharks find a way, and they'll finally find a way out of that buy that they've had for a while. Look at the flashes. Look at the symmetry almost there. One player being under balk, one player being on top balk and getting taken down together. And that Molotov spreading toward Nathan. He thinks he's jumping up. He thinks he's safe from it. But it spreads. And Sharks are planning to go through Palace with the bomb. They're going for something very speedy again here by the looks of it. But DRG is well set up if they look to try and make a fast strafe out of Palace. Looks like Sharks are playing this one again. They've got mid-presence and they've got this flash coming in from Gafolo. They could be strafing into their death here. DRG's found only one though, and it's fallen apart. Sharks are finding a route to a possible overtime.
Oh man, well you've just got to kind of sit here and wonder how consequential that prolonged break was, the tech issues. And it was not Sharks' fault. It wasn't their issues that were delaying the game here that broke up that momentum for Solid. GBB and Nathan to see if they can kind of rescue the 2 versus 4, but I don't think it's going to happen, Trav. Surely not, right? GBB dies.
Damn.
Oh man, Nathan last man left alive. I don't think that it's a coincidence that the rounds in which Nathan isn't on the side of the map where the action is going down is the rounds that Solid don't actually win. Because he was the one getting the opening kills for them. Hasn't been able to in these past 2. Sharks win them both, and we run it back in OT.
Oh god, maybe Solid, maybe Lython's teammate's going to have PTSD from having to watch him jump up on ticket. Either 1, fail to do so and almost lose a round early on. 2, jump into the Molotov. I know that was unlucky because it spread, but at the end there, dying to take us to OT. Nothing really Lython could do, though. It's really not his fault. He's had a good game. And Sharks have managed to drag us back. They do not want to go to Ancient on the other side. That is a map that Solid are historically very good on.
Yeah, it just does kind of suck for Solid that they do so well from being down 8-12 to win 4 in a row, get themselves up 12-10, win convincing rounds in that streak of 4. And then we have the prolonged break by their own fault, right? There were their own tech issues that forced us to delay the game. And then they lose the 2 rounds afterwards, and all that hard work is kind of just cancelled out. 12 all. Sharks with a chance to get this done in 2 and get themselves into the grand final.
But we've had the slate wiped clean, as you like to say, Matt, here for Sharks. They can relax a little bit. They're not 1 round from being taken to a 3rd map now. And GBB feels like he wants to press the issue in the first round of OT. He gets punished for it. Good frag from Gafolo.
And off the back of that, looks like they'll leave RDN in middle and just cluster themselves outside of apartments. DRG has closed the gap. How far does he push here? He's right up against his own smoke. He's going to go into Koala. He's got a goddamn nade out. DRG should be traded, but no, somehow through the smoke, he's been able to get another. Doc desperately looking to try and force him down, and he will. But DRG's already done so much damage here for Solid.
Oh my goodness. Doc had perfect crosser placement on the market play there. Imagine him just running headshot him. But thankfully for Solid, that won't be the case. Nathan will get one more pick, and Teammates in the right place at the right time to deal with Gafolo. Sharks had a good start to this round, but Solid keep battling. They gifted DRG a chance. He'll take it with open arms. RDN needs to find 3 clean duels with 25 seconds on the clock, and Nathan will not allow it. Solid get back into the lead.
Yeah, and it was a round in which Sharks get an opening kill, but DRG, the hero over on that B-bomb side again, he's gotten only 12 kills throughout the map so far, but there have been some very important kills in the mix. That was the opening frag. Man, Koala, if only he had his gun out, Trav, then he gets the kill on DRG, and who knows what happens in the round from there. It would have been 5v3.
Very true. Sharks really having issues on this T side to manage to somehow scrape it to OT, but Often in these situations, you can kind of relax right when you get to that first round of OT, and then suddenly Solid have won a couple of rounds, and it feels so much more difficult all over again. RDN kind of peaks dry into mid somewhat. I mean, he had some support, but don't get how any trade potential for it until Doc comes creeping in to deal with Destiny.
All right, well, what do Sharks do from here to try and get themselves into a bomb site? Late smoke in apartment's going to be difficult for them to navigate, but doable. DRG is here, Trav. He's had a field day so far over on the side of the map in the CT side. And he's going to have a job to do here again as well. He has got GBB not far away. DRG, though, does he even need support?
Yeah, good kill and damage. And GBB, though, he tries to pounce as they're looking to try and plant the bomb. And he's done, again, more damage. But look how far Tomate and Nathan are away. But hang on, it might not matter. Gafolo is caught lurking around in mid. And look at the health of his teammates. Not sure I agree with him. Maybe not getting into position as soon as he probably could have, when he was a one full health player, and Doc has been wall banged through bench out of the round. He was very low HP, very wall bangable with that AWP, and it's proving to be so. Now, Koala, how does he clutch this on 26 health? A tap on the bomb. It's going to be a hold coming in now. He's trying to creep his way through for Market, and he's found the kill. Now he can play time against Tomate. How much time can he waste? I think it's going to be enough. He's wasted enough time. What a clutch to win for Sharks.
What a massively important clutch as well. I think that Solid probably just almost certainly think that he must be in apartments, maybe hiding behind the wall. They don't account for him being in market. And he also gambles after the defuse was tapped the first time that it isn't being stuck. And he kind of has to in the 1v2 as well to give himself a chance. And he completely capitalizes on it as well.
Yeah, as you say, the committal to not pounce immediately, to hold your nerve when you know for a fact it's overtime and they're going to have defuse kits. And so often you have one CT holding the defuse and one trying to like spin and look at every single angle in that sort of situation to try and cover your teammate. But no, the first one wasn't a hold, second one was, and then he realized it was his time to make a play. Huge round for Sharks.
Well, who will get themselves a lead going into the second half of overtime? That's what we're looking for right now.
Doc. Under window. Trying to prepare maybe a double con swing here. Counter utility coming through, but it's a great reaction from Destiny. Doc kind of does go before the players on Cat are ready to swing with him. They're trying to peek together now. One player in tasked with watching short, two in tasked with watching con. And they actually go about that brilliantly, literally holding each other's hands to take mid control and take control of Cat. But DRG's here again. Can he do more damage? He tagged Ken's down to 12, and he's found Koala as well. It's a good Molotov that will keep him at bay. Should allow a plant. 16 seconds, he needs to find it and will, but Gafolo's been found by Nithon. So consistent is Nithon, but that's an insane headshot from Ken's. The Academy stand-in looking to take 14. Oh, he needed one more bullet, but it's DRG to grab it, and a critical 14th for Solid.
So much confidence on display there from the clutch attempt from Ken's, you know. The way that he swings that first player, gets the kill at range with him on Catwalk, tries to do the same thing to DRG in apartments. He brings him down very low, but doesn't get the kill in time. I mean, that round was looking so good for Sharks after Gafolo gets that kill through the connector smoke. Because he gets the one frag here. Oh, we're not going to see it, unfortunately. Then he gets another through the smoke as well. But Solid will get the round across the line and give themselves a slight lead going into the second half.
Oh my word. I thought Sharks did a wonderful job there of as I kind of said in the play-by-play, like holding each other's hand, working their way up cat and short. They were picked down. They stuck together. Cafolo won 2 duels with the AWP. But they just couldn't get themselves into a B cleanly. DRG, again, a bit of a hero, just to stall them a little bit. But now Matt, Solid haven't been on T for a while, and Sharks haven't been on CT for a while. So, does that affect the play at all? Well, they do. They know, are very aware, Matt, aren't they, that Doc loves to play that position in mid, underneath the shelf of Catwalk. And, well, he's had barely any success from playing that in the last, like, 3 or 4 times we've seen him play there. They've got a 4v3, and Garofalo's missed his shot onto Mate. He's going to take Ardian as well. And Sharks have, again, fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, in devastating fashion as well. Solid have just completely steamrolled Sharks. We see Sharks go back to the same sort of approach in towards middle that they had in regulation on their CT side, which is to try and fight for control. And Solid, well, they go for their same approach as well. They just group up in middle. And they win out that fight, and with that, they're going to get 2 more chances. They had 2 map points in regulation, and they're going to have 2 here in overtime as well. This time on the T side, though.
Another couple of opportunities to take us to a 3rd map. Solid battling for their Challenger League lives right now. Chance to play against Fluxo in that grand final. Don't forget, Solid did top the regular season. Maybe you could say surprisingly so when you've got the likes of Fluxo, the likes of Red Canids, for example. But form is very different for that team compared to the rest of the league right now.
Well, can they finish it off here and now, Trav? They don't want this to slip into another round of overtime. They certainly don't want this to slip into another set of overtime. Gafolo has an AWP, Koala has the other, and it's going to be early attention in towards middle from Solid, but they're going to be looking to break down this B bomb site with force.
Once again, DRG and Tomate both tagged down though, and Koala on this, as you say, secondary AWP. Can he really do anything with it? Gafolo already tagged down to 7. Ken's looking to try and move forward on short. Definitely worried about ladder room. Understand why. If Ken's maybe had crept up that ladder, take a duel toward that position Destiny is in. And once again, Solid confirming their mid control. Ken's is waiting. GBB looks like he wants to swing it. But, oh, that's a bit of a misplay from Nithon. He kind of swings it into the open. He's relying on GBB just to go for a trade, and relying there's kind of no one there. If he's to stay alive in the round, and Doc will do some damage to Destiny as he looks to try and rotate around. They realise it's a B play coming through. Koala is ready on that secondary AWP. It's a great opening tap. There needs to be more where that came from. The flash is going to force him back into that corner behind the site. 35 seconds left, and actually, Solid are pulling the plug here. They're going for a full rotation round, and I'm not sure that's advisable because they've still got players on the A site here. Destiny's rotated all the way around jungle, but Gafolo, even on 7 HP, is so ready for it.
Yeah, very good awareness across the board here, but the job's not done. Does look like Solid are still going to try and get themselves into the A bomb site very late into the round. GBB finds the entry on the first, but he can't connect the shots on the second. If he does there certainly is a chance in the round. But Ardi and Zell will squash it, and that is going to be Sharks keeping themselves alive for a little bit longer. They're going to get to fight for another round here.
Goodness gracious. Hanging on by a shark tooth right now. I did see in chat earlier that someone kind of said to me that that's not like an ornament, but like a pendant you would wear, like around your neck. That is quite common. I remember that now, so fair play. Thank you for reminding me. Conversation we had a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go again, Matt. Gafolo playing aggressive under in a super important round as well.
All right, well, here we go. Can Sharks force us into another set of overtime? Or do Solid get the job done 16-14 and take us into Ancient? It still feels like this will go to Ancient. Solid have been in control on Mirage for a long time. Enough to motivate me and inspire me that they'll get this one across the line. Oh, Gafolo. He is posted. He is waiting. He's now spotted somebody, but GBB has seen him as well. Gafolo will have to extinguish the flames, but now that leaves him vulnerable, susceptible to the spray. Nice nade combo from GBB, and that kill is guaranteed.
Yeah, another example of having a player in underpass for so long just not working out for any success at all. And Solid getting ever closer to map 3. Kens will move forward back a little bit, but Doc's found DRG, and look at the timing on the Kens pick. I love that timing when they're distracted from the con angle, and RDN's found one more. The trade's good though. It leaves Koala in a 1v2 to save the game, and GBB will hold him. What a performance from Solid. They were nowhere on map 1, but we said their Mirage was better. We knew it was better, and they proved it could be a bit of a brawl coming in now.
Oh yeah, you and me both. Hopefully we get a fitting end to the lower bracket. There are 3 teams left remaining in the competition. There's only 1 spot at Pro League. Remember, Trav, last season in 48 for ECL, there were 2 spots at Pro League up for grabs, if I'm not mistaken. So it's even more cutthroat this time round. Just making the grand final isn't enough. You have to win it. Let's see who's going to win this map here. It's going to be armor across the board for Sharks. 4 sets of Kevlar and some utility for the T side, and we're into this 3rd map.
Yeah, very small delay, thankfully not too long, and we're ready to go. But in comes the fight. They're certainly ready to go on the Shark side. The duels in mid all go their way. Solid were priming, preparing, but they got caught during that preparation.
Well, this pistol round just straight up lives and dies, but the skirmish in towards middle, or does it? Hang on a second. That's a nice little double kill from DRG. There's also plenty time to play with in the round, so he's going to make his way back from Donut, wrap around CT in towards Red Room. Now, does Gafolo start to consider this? Yes. Good timing. Does he push forward? Yes. And he realizes that I don't really want to be here right now. Knife out around the corner, but hasn't been able to fall the entire way back, but he has gotten far away enough to bring Doc into the fight, and Sharks win the pistol.
Yeah, that's a good way of going about it there for Gafolo. It looks a bit risky, but I think he gauged it pretty well. Here comes the mid-fight. As you can see, Solid are kind of preparing to take the duels, preparing to watch up towards Shelf, but no one came from there. DRG trying his best, but without the bomb, it was very, very difficult. If he had it, would have a chance to plant on A. Who knows? But it was dropped originally in that early skirmish, the early kerfuffle. And it's a full eco for Solid on the back of that.
Yeah, unfortunate timing on the nade. That could have been huge. Unfortunately, it's just a little tickle onto Nathan, but maybe that enables him here to get a bit more with the MP9. Will be 2 kills. A bomb plant here for Solid would be lovely, Trav. They could even get another kill they have. Shouldn't be anything more here. DRG with the P250, I thought for a moment, but not going to happen. 2 casualties, not the end of the world for Sharks, but still something for Solid to celebrate.
Yeah, not too bad. Can't complain. P9 farming up some cash. Maybe not as much as they would have loved, considering it's a full eco, but it's all good. Their buy in the next round for Sharks still has the 2 Famases. The 2 Fami. Not the official plural.
Yes. It will be one day. Oh, look at this from Solid. This is pacey. This is such a popular option in the first gun round of Ancient on the T side. Just charge into the A bomb side. More often than not, nobody home. There was someone home, Koala, but he's been removed from his home. Gafola tries to get in on the action as well by going through the smoke, but that's going to cost him his life. Solid's still in control, but haven't been able to find the plant yet.
Yeah, someone get the wildlife authorities. A koala has been displaced and needs rehoming, needs rewilding. He's been completely forced out of the round. And I completely agree with you. That is a play that we often talk about quite a lot right on Ancient. Going for a speedy A push in the first gun round. Especially when you know there's a bit of a a weaponry disadvantage for the CT side. I love the decision.
Yeah.
And they're going to get rewarded.
Normally, CT sides have to be conditioned into defending the A-bomb side as well, because obviously the standard setup is to prioritize middle as the CT side. And as the Ts, you can kind of exploit that early on. And now Sharks will have to think, okay, well, are we going to just play all out for mid at the start of the round, or do we have to send someone A at the start? You know, does the AWP have to start to commit to A from the beginning of the round? You know, from CT, just move a few steps forward and then post on an angle. And then as a result of the T side, you create space elsewhere on the map, right? That's the push and the pull. Trying to read your opponents and how they're going to adapt and adjust to what you've been doing throughout the half so far, and where that will then create opportunities for you down the line.
Oh, looks like they wanted to stay pacey, but hang on. It's a CT side who want to be pacey this time. Dark gets a 1-for-1 though, and with DRG getting one of his own, Destiny helping out. Solid have dealt with this faster, aggressive push from Sharks, and that's a good sign for Solid. They're kind of ready for what Sharks are throwing at them thus far. It's a good kill from RDM, but there's plenty more where that came from Solid in toward Jag and Cave. Round's not lost yet. Gafolo's in a good position. Is he ready to flick up if they walk through that shelf position in mid? No, they're going to go back toward Jaguar. So it's all RDN on 46 health.
Yeah, Gafolo's going to realize that they're faking, because he can hear the smoke bloom on the A-bomb site, and he knows that's been thrown from shelf. He knows which smoke they've used, but maybe he's worried they're coming through A main. So it means Gafolo's going to have to do it all. He's going to hear the util being thrown in his direction, and the wall of smokes employed might be enough for Gafolo to just accept his fate here. Oh, looks for the timing as the player crosses onto the site, but it's not going to work out for him. And that's going to be a leveled up scoreline early on. Once Solid get the guns in their hands, they found success.
And I even like the small factor there, right, of when they get their 3v2, they just pause, just wait, see if Sharks go looking for any more. Might go for something aggressive to try and recover the round, bring it back into a 2v2, take a gamble. They just sit and wait and chill.
Yeah, it shows that they're very comfortable at the moment. They don't feel like they have to keep making moves. Read the situation, take their time to get into the bomb site. Sharks fighting fire with fire in this round. In the early stages there towards ramp, looking to try and take that fight to Solid, and didn't really work out for them, trading unfavorably. I have been able to save a couple guns though, so even though this is an eco round for Sharks, they do still have that open M4 at their disposal.
Be careful, Solid. These are the sort of rounds where they can't afford to let slip. When it's a third map decider, every single micro error is magnified, and every round you lose that would be like this one, you'll think back on and say, oh my word, how? How did that happen? But it's a good start for Nithon. He's had a great map too, did Nithon. And now Doc will be creeping back in to try and help Gafolo. Setup's okay. DBB in that cubby, of course, trying to play a regular default position. Does get P250'd. And the AWP does find one on Gafolo as well. So they recovered it down into a 3v3 that is winnable with Gafolo and RDN still alive.
Again though, Solid are displaying that they're quite happy to take time. That they're happy to just pause, post up on angles, and see if they get offered anything. Nathan does miss a shot though. Does that compel them to actually move away from this B bomb site? They'll have to get past RD and Zhao and Donut, and look at this from Koala. Smokes off ramp and then pushes through the smoke. He'll see there's nobody here, so that'll allow for Gafolo to rotate RD, and that first frag is free. Should be traded. Never mind. He's going to line them all up and win the round for his team.
What did I say about losing rounds like that if you're Solid? That is a rough one. It doesn't look good with their economy either. They can buy a couple of rifles, they can get the AWP out, but there'll be a few pitfalls. Nithon started the round so comfortably again. They didn't really look like they were panicking too much. but maybe you could argue the way that Nithon jumped in toward Donut there was a little bit lazy. He could just try and clear angles a little bit better with 30 seconds. They did try and rush it a bit there. Had a bit of time to use. But RDN, can't take it away from him. That's an excellent hold. Eats up the lineup.
Such a rough round for Solid to lose, man, after doing really well by winning the previous gun rounds before that. They do have a chance to try answer back. DRG's Mac 10 is going to be the one to lead the charge, but it's Nathan's open support that finds the first kill. And that could just be round over. I mean, Sharks do look like they want to try and maybe attempt this, but there's a lot riding on the retake. And there we go. They're going to accept their fate. That is a brilliant round out of Solid.
And that kind of holds a bit more weight when you realise what went before, right? The rebuttal, the immediate bounce back, the putting the disappointment out of your mind from the previous round. I get the impression this is going to be the way this game's going to go. I said it would be a brawl. It hasn't descended into any madness yet that we saw maybe toward the end of Mirage, with a couple of great clutches in overtime between both. But we're in a position here where it's very much starting back and forth. Of course, don't forget there is the North American region to come after this as well.
They may have to wait a little bit for us.
Yeah, indeed. We've got, I believe, Nouns versus Legacy coming up tonight. That is also obviously the consolidation final. You've got NRG waiting in the grand final for that spot at Pro League. For another appearance at Pro League as well for NRG. Oh my goodness, look at the damage done to GBB and Nithon. That's insane.
Yeah, not at all an ideal way to start off this round for him. Good util usage. And not a huge amount on offer here from Sharks either. Does look like they're going to re-explore back into middle. RDN does have the angle deep on mid. No presence around the map. Solid, they're going to look to go through a smoke grenade.
And Kens might need to do some damage through a smoke grenade as well. Destiny is through. He's making some noise. Oh my goodness, RDN. That is brazen. Caster speak for way too aggressive. Feels like he thought he was kind of like the last port of call. It was the only way they were going to win the round in any way, shape or form if he was to push through the smoke and get 1 or 2 kills. But it was just guaranteed death there.
And this round looks like it's guaranteed for Solid as well. Sharks are doing everything they can to try and breach back into the bomb site, but Solid will just deny them. Really good shooting there. 3 kills in the round for Destiny. To make it's 2 of his own. Solid back to winning ways. It's looking like they're trying to hammer home on that B bomb site at the moment. 2 rounds in a row now where they've just popped their way up ramp into B at a moment's notice, caught the defense napping to a degree, and taken advantage.
The right time for attack for Sharks. We need to have a discussion. RDN, as I say, bit of a rush of blood to the head.
Well, they will be able to afford a reinvestment here, will Sharks? But this is Solid's opportunity, right, Trav, to kind of run away with the early stages of the decider. You win here 5-3, anti-eco 6-3. I don't think Solid have ever really been in a super comfortable position throughout the series so far. So it'd be ironic if that was the case here on the decider of all maps.
Oh, Kens pushing forward. Dergy's not looking the right way. Great timing on that push. It will go down in the end, but it activates Doc to push through Jaguar. It's a good find and a good advantage to glean here. Bomb is walking out mid in the meantime, and they'll be walking out mid into the RDN M4. playing on the corner of Red Room there. That Molotov is past him. You can see it on the radar right now. And Koala does need to be careful. RDN, though, patience will pay off. He gets his one. Unfortunately, does go down. They do get a 2-for-1 back to bring it back into a 2v2. Koala, MP9, all trying to play with the sound cues. Should get the kill, does get the kill. Nighton almost managed to punish him for missing the first few shots. But now to mate 1v2. Good angle held by Koala. Picks up the AWP to get a favourable position. And Sharks, again, won't let Solid get away.
Yeah, neat little decision making there from Koala, pushing forward in Donut and then trying to wrap around the pillar to catch Nathan off guard. I mean, yeah, he wasn't the cleanest with the spray initially, but he still gets the kill and then he does finish off the job. And I also like the way that Sharks open in that round. They didn't have a full buy at their disposal, and they also know that Solid have been quite keen to take early control outside of doors. And so what Sharks think is, well, we know we will have a fight offered up to us there, so let's go there with the 5-7. Let's push through cave at the same time. Let's see if Solid can withstand that pressure, and they're going to try and keep the pressure up coming into this next round as well. Audience, ow! I thought he might have had all three, but you know what? He'll take just the 2.
Yeah, considering he pushed through the Molotov and got taken down to around about half health before he even took a duel, he'll be quite happy with that. And look at the timing of Gafolo pushing ramp.
Again, though. And that's going to be the job done. Again, it's this combination from Sharks where they're having pressure from ramp, and then there's pressure from middle, there's pressure from Jaguar. Back and forth, playing off of each other brilliantly right now. And Solid aren't able to keep up with it.
And finally, there's been a couple of rounds won in a row by one of these two. So it'll be Sharks who will be taking the eco for Solid here in their stride, they would hope. I'm going to go for a full rush. It's a little bit late, a little bit nervy, but they've done all the damage they need to get done. Tomato and Destiny, though, 2 kills with a P250 apiece. They'll accept that. And actually, 3 kills overall. Really not too bad, considering it's not the end of the world for Shark, because we're nearing the end of the half anyway. The economy isn't an absolute necessity to truly worry about.
I mean, well, there would be implications going into the next round if they lose this one here and don't keep anybody alive.
That's true.
So you can't discount the kills entirely. Anyway, is going to be a good little display here from Sharks. A nice streak coming through for them as they go up 6-4. Third map to side of the lower bracket final. 3 teams left here in ECL Season 49 South America. Fluxo already have their ticket stamped into the grand final. Who will join them?
RDN.
Great timing on the break open of the smoke.
He's found 2 with that as well. That's really nice. RDN has kind of like, I'm not sure how to describe it, maybe like cooled off, but cooled off in the right way. Usually we say like cooled off when it's like form, and we're like, oh, okay, he's not as hot as he was now, or not as hot as he was earlier, I should say. But like that little push through the smoke that he went for on B, one of those situations where Solid had the sight, that was a little bit bold. And then since then, he's played very calculated, played very defensive, been a bit more aggressive when he needed to be, and yeah, it's all paid off for him.
I like that you highlight that, kind of actually noticing the evolution throughout the series from him and how important it's been, right? Oh my goodness, look at this. This is fast and pacey. GBB straight up ramp. He's going to go down. That's the end of his half. 3 for 8, all he's been able to contribute. Sharks do have 2 players, a third that's arrived on the scene, and he may be required. Lots of damage being done through the smoke, but it's in a man advantage now for the T side. Gafolo in fairly awkward territory with his AWP as well, with how much is going on around him. RDN Zhao's going to run forward. He's gotten a kill, as has Gafolo, who's doubled down. It's only to mate left and not for much longer either. RDN, the hero throughout the half, gets 3. It's 8 for Sharks, and there's one more half to be played.
The Sharks have been pushed, the Sharks have been pulled, but they do have an 8-4 lead in map 3 here going on to the T side of Ancient. They have been tested truly by Solid over the course of this series, but did pull away at the end of that first half with a great hold toward B to finish it off. Now they've got an opportunity to get through to that grand final here and now.
Yes, sir. And they can take a big step in that direction if they can win the second half pistol round, Trav. That would ramp the pressure up exponentially on Solid. And they're going to try and go in towards the safe bomb site. Koala doesn't clear out on top of the boost, though. Nathan with the Julies will punish, and he gets a second kill. He's taken a single point of damage. That's all for his troubles. Julies are plenty here for the CT side. There's 2 sets of them, and Sharks can't withstand how much is going on right now.
Yeah, Doc stuck on default. They figured out where he is. They got him pinned in every single angle. Destiny will run his way in as everyone goes in together. Make sure you pinch and pincer. Little pinch might be nice, but a pincer not so much. Sharks will lose the pistol. Great work from Solid. And Nithon does amazing work in particular to make sure no one gets through A main.
Yeah, I just can't believe that he didn't take any damage in and amongst those 2 kills. Felt like they were way too easy for him. Man, I wonder how Sharks were feeling at the end of the first map after having won on Nuke 13-3 and just completely destroyed Solid. Because you were like, yeah, well, we're going to Mirage now, and that's actually been a really good map for Solid, so I'm thinking we could have a close one. And I'm like, mate, did you watch that previous map? Did we see the same thing? Because Solid were nowhere to be found on Nuke, but they really have come alive since then.
Time for DRG to eat up the Glocks. Got Nithon support, and well, that ended pretty quickly. Ended as quickly as it begun. Actually, quicker than it begun. There is the conversion for Solid. From 8-4 to 8-6 is when Sharks will get the guns out. Good utility, of course, available as well. So, this is where it truly matters. These 2 teams fighting for the right to play Fluxo in tomorrow's grand final.
That's what they're after. And actually, this is a pretty similar start to the second half with what we compared to what we had on Mirage just preceding this. I think it was also an 8-4 half there, if I'm not mistaken. With Solid winning the second half pistol. It was 7-5, excuse me. Anyway, put that on ice because DRG is heating up in the server. A brilliant double kill. He's gotten so many multi-kills on the CT side throughout the series, and that's another one.
Super clean. And didn't waste any ammo either, right? 1 and 2. Gave him a chance to fight the third. Hit the dink. Probably should have actually got that kill. Destiny's looking for utility on the ground, I think, to try and swap over to a teammate. Looked a bit funny there as he was staring at the ground, but there was a reason for it. Smoke was up. He felt safe. There's an AK to switch to as well if necessary. Probably why he's playing near this angle as well, just to take an AK off the ground immediately if he runs out of ammunition in a duel. There we go. Gonna re-smoke it as well. The dinked RDN Zhao is in a bit of a predicament, as are Sharks.
Well, there should be no way back into the round here for the T side. Going to try and break open the smoke and see if they can catch somebody off guard, but they've taken so much damage throughout the round up until this point that they really can't even break into the top of the ramp there. Good lockdown coming through from Solid, keeping 4 players alive as well is going to be a good boost to their economy, and they draw within 1. Sharks start to falter, and Solid breathe down their necks.
That's what I mean, right? Look at the second kill here. Maybe 2 extra bullets he didn't need. It's very, very clean. And now we start to get a bit worried for Sharks again. They did struggle on the T side of Mirage. So again, they're getting pegged back here by Solid. I have a feeling it would be a good battle, right? Map 1, you're absolutely right, was nowhere near a good battle at all. They won 1 gun round in that entire map. But yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating to see how it will go as we keep on playing in DRG. Wow, I mean, so often these pistol rounds can get out of hand if you lose one gun. They lost the gun now, but it's not after. DRG does a sterling job with 3 kills. Actually, Nightline will get run down though. That's a second M4 to be grabbed, and Sharks realise all of a sudden that they've got something to work with here, and will pause.
Oh,
if they clear Destiny. Ooh, I'm a bit worried. Destiny's whiffing a little bit. Looks like he's a little bit shocked. But he gets 1 for 1. That should be all right.
Yeah, Tomatoes there as well to make sure that Solid have all the information. GBB is going to go searching though, and that did have me slightly concerned, but he's done a lot of damage to Koala. That'll allow for Tomato to jump up and just start to close the gap, and he will find a favorable angle, knowing that all the attention would be on his teammates, so reads the situation well. Solid have leveled up the scoreline here on the decider, fighting back on the CT side. They've won 4 rounds in a row. Sharks haven't really looked like they've been in the contest in any of these rounds in the second half either, actually. It's been smooth sailing for Solid. And again, a word on DRG, another multi-kill for him here on the CT side. We saw him get a number of super important multis on Mirage, Trav, and he's doing it here on Ancient as well. A man possessed, looking to eliminate his former organization. Yeah, if you look at DRG's stats for the series, you could say to you, like, wait, why are you talking him up? He's like 26 and 34, -8, nothing too special. Yeah, exactly.
But on CT
That's exactly
sides,
why I'm talking him up.
But on CT sides, he's 21 and 18 over the course of the series with a 1.2 rating. So that really tells the tale. And
here he is again. Guess who? Oh, okay. Well, he can't get the multi, but he pretty much has gotten 2 kills effectively with all the damage done to that second player. GBB can wait on the other side of the smoke. However, Doc has come through from Cave, and he's been able to find a kill that hasn't been traded. And as a result, we're into an even numbers game. Scratch that. It's advantage Sharks. Gafolo's gotten a kill, and they know where Tomate is as well. Going to try and force the issue, but Gafolo smartly evades him. Tomate desperately spraying through the smoke. You know what? He's not far off the mark. And Gafolo has now flipped over to the opposite side. He's such an active AWPer. He's missed his shot, though. That's going to render him useless out in the open. He's dead. Has Tomate Red into the reposition here from Doc. He has got a smoke grenade and a kit at his disposal. Smokes Cave off. Does Doc go for the gamble spray? No. Defuse, not being stuck. Does Doc commit through the smoke? He's going to have to. Tomate will get the kill. There's more than enough time, and he's robbed Sharks at the death.
Oh, my word. How important could that prove to be in this third map decider? What a clutch from Tomate. Everyone from Solid doing their absolute best right now, showing up when necessary. Look at the recovery here from Sharks. But Gafolo, you mentioned he's being an active AWPer. I just absolutely wish he played somewhere a little bit safer than that. I know he feels like he can't maneuver, doesn't want to get run down if he plays default, for example. I get it, but just didn't feel like the right move. It's a great jiggle out from Tomate, and we haven't really talked him up that much either over the course of the Solid matches we've covered in these playoffs, but that's super important.
Yeah.
Right time for attack for Sharks, that's for sure.
What I will say for Gafolo there, Tramp, I know you're running defense for him, but he could have gone back to ramp because there was a smoke long and Tomate was spraying the smoke. So they knew he was there. They knew he wasn't wrapping back round to short, and maybe there would have been some awkward timing. Gafolo's trying to be the man. He's trying to be him. I'm going to be on the front lines with the AWP. I'm going to hit the shot, win the round, and that's that with the AWP. I'm the big boss. But just play it safe. Play the percentages. You know, if he goes back to ramp, there's zero chance, I think, in my opinion, for Tomate to win the round from there. So that was a big mistake as far as I'm concerned.
Just want to repeat this one again, because I think it's actually quite a more significant disparity than I've seen in quite a while. You brought it up. I made sure to double check again to make sure I'm not going crazy. It is now nearly 2 a.m. For the series, DRG is 5 and 16 on T side, but 21 and 18 on CT side. That's a big difference.
I mean, generally, you do need more out of your IGL in the fragging department on the CT side than the T side, because on the T side, he's more about sacrificing himself. He's more about setting up his teammates. On the CT side, you got a job to do, almost as equal as the rest of the team on your on the CT side, right? Everybody has a role required, and DRG's been doing his really well.
Quick pause.
This is 5 rounds in a row for Solid, Trav. And it's going to be a half investment for Sharks as well. So double digits is ripe for the taking.
Solid really showing why they topped the league over the course of the regular season. They got some wins where you could say, okay, well, they should be beating that team, and maybe some forfeit wins as well, I think, toward the end of the season. But it's no fluke. They're proving it here. Sharks taking damage to Kens and Doc already. And Nithon will manage to catch Gafolo nicely. Already a pick
bit of a
up.
pointless jiggle.
Yeah.
Anyway,
agreed.
I'm being hypercritical right now, and you know what? These mistakes will start to creep into the game when it's this late into the series and there's this much on the line. So much pressure on both of these teams right now. And Shark's going to try and venture up Donut in towards the safe bomb site. Destiny's here, and there's some support in Temple as well.
Oh, Destiny's looking a little bit shaky, though, individually. He's getting bailed out on a couple of occasions by his teammates, but the HP is so rough. Surely there's no way Sharks can win a round like this. It's going to have to be Doc, and it's not Doc. It's 15 HP between the last two players, and Kens, I think they've figured out exactly where he's playing from. They're all looking toward his position. Nithon actually isn't for a split second, but they're going to go for the defuse. Kens can't get back in here. If he denies one more kill, or gets one more kill, I should say, maybe it's worth it, but no. Nithon cheekily plays behind the box. Hard for the Tech-9 to complete that one. And it's Solid on double digits first. Sharks have yet to find a T-side round.
And have they been close in any of the rounds? Okay, I guess the clutch from Tomate, that was their best opportunity. But outside of that, it's been pretty easy for Sharks here. Excuse me, for Solid on the CT side. They've had a good time of it up until now. 6 rounds in a row. And if they can add a 7th to that tally, that might be the door almost entirely shut here for Sharks. Again, more nade damage. Solid have been getting nade damage pretty much every single round here. Just lobbing those nades into Speedway just outside double doors. And Sharks have been paying the price.
RDN Zhao, more like RDN Ow. 23 HP.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to force the issue up toward Red Room, though. Which, honestly, fair play. Oh, Tomate's now been dinked. Goodness gracious.
That was unfortunate because Doc was shooting back for DRG.
Yeah.
And Tomates is the one who catches the dink through the wall there. It's like, all right, cheers, mate. Thanks for that.
Molotov to take control of Jaguar. Sharks very aware how critical this round is. If they lose it, 11-8, half by again, likely 12-8, and you're on the brink of defeat, of elimination. DRG is going to move his way forward into the corner again. GBB's found Gafolo in the meantime. Are they going to check the corner properly? They are not, but it's DRG's first big whiff on CT of the game. Kens will take him down. Nithon will find the trade, but RDN actually is finding impact on that 23 HP from earlier on, but it's a 2v3 for Sharks. Nithon, great flick up, and the other AWP picked up as well by GBB. Oh my goodness, Matt. Sharks, they are our pick at the very beginning of playoffs, the beginning of this regular season, and maybe an underdog to get all the way to the grand final. They're now 2 rounds away from missing out.
Yeah, well, it was DRG missing out on all of those shots, but it's okay because his AWPers deliver. And GBB, what a heroic round from him towards the top of ramp, because I think he's there by himself. If he goes down in and amongst any of the kills that he gets, then the B-bomb site somewhat opened up at that point, but he holds his ground, and then he takes space as well. Another half investment for Sharks. That means they're going to be looking to play for overtime in a half that they haven't even won a single round. Oh man, it really has fallen apart at the seams. It's not completely over yet, but this has been brutal for Sharks, especially after the way that they dominated Nuke. But here we go, Tech-9's finding some momentum in towards Donut, but Destiny will shut them down. That's looking more solid from him, looking more reliable. They know that Kens is here as well, and they've been able to squash any threat in this round.
Yeah, Destiny will get out as well. Doc can only do a little bit of damage. Goodness gracious. Great performance from Solid, and with all 5 players staying alive, for Sharks, they're going to have to do it the hard way. They're going to have to break through plenty of money and win 4 in a row to save this game.
Yeah, 4 in a row on a half that they haven't won 1 out of 8. That's a tall
crazy.
order if I've ever heard one. especially with the finances at play here for Solid. They've got plenty money in the bank. Probably at least a full buy and a half, if not 2 full buys. Sharks, what can they do? What do they try and fall back on? At least they've been able to avoid the might of the early util damage. That's a start.
Yeah, that's true. That's been a very big factor for Solid in the last couple of rounds, just giving them an advantage from the off. DRG. And I'll reload. Doc knows exactly what's going on there, and probably will know it's DRG as well. Does control that position nearly every round on CT. It's his job.
Before the round gets underway, look at the numbers, Trap, for Solid. Everybody's fragging. Very even kill distribution. Everyone's chipping in for Sharks, but to slightly less of a degree. And that could be the minutiae of a difference. Alright, where do Sharks go from here? They have got lane control. They've only got a sprinkling of utility, a single smoke grenade and 2 flashes, and they've lost Koala.
Oh, goodness. Someone send out a search warrant. We need to find the Sharks. Doc is having to force his way through in toward Donut here. Destiny's ready to deliver. Pre-fire, double kill. It's starting to fall apart. And honestly, it's been falling apart for a little while for Sharks. Bomb will be picked back up, but Gafo is about to jump into his demise. And Sharks, they're going to completely fall apart on this T side. Team Solid are about to get through to the grand final of ECL Season 49 with a flawless CT half of Ancient.
Deserved. A really good display from them here in the lower bracket final. They've booked themselves a rematch with Flux